What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Madonna, and we're returning to Bedtime Stories 1994. Thank you again to Mark. And the next track is Forbidden Love. There are many reasons love can be forbidden, whether it's two families who don't want their children involved, or one family who doesn't want their child getting involved with someone for socio-cultural or maybe religious or even economic reasons. Of course, love can be forbidden because it transgresses established mores or attitudes about what type of relationships are appropriate. It could be love that is not officially ordained under the auspices of marriage, again, within a particular religion or culture or both. So yes, again, there are many reasons love can be forbidden. I do wonder whether this will be a forbidden love that is found out for that very characteristic, or a love that is ongoing but must be kept secret. Obviously, or not obviously, but I would expect there to be a narrative in time when it comes to the forbidden love, but I guess we'll see what I can pick up on a first listen. This is Madonna, the track is Forbidden Love, and it's from her 1994 album Bedtime Stories.
Forbidden love. If I had one wish,
Cool. It's a smooth tune. It has a very smooth, sensual vibe, seemingly very in line with the themes. But before I get to the lyrics, I will mention I like the more traditional sounding organ, electric organ at the bottom of the track, but there was a very high, almost metallic or tinny type of melodic run at the top, and I felt like that was maybe an electric organ, but a different part or a different end of the keyboard. I do enjoy the down-tempo R&B feel. There was a bit of a jazzy touch. I don't know if it was a true horn or just a synth that had a bit of a brass sound to it, but that gave it a little bit of a jazzy flavor. But by and large, it felt like 90s R&B in the slower, heavier bedroom kind of sound. And yeah, so ultimately her vocals, not the most intense or belting of hers that I've heard, but ultimately there seemed to be both the regular, soothing, melodic vocal run she was doing, but then there was a spoken or even whispered bit of vocals, including something like, "Something is the best aphrodisiac," but I couldn't hear what the word was at the beginning of that passage, so I don't know the essence of that part specifically. There was a moment I thought I was hearing a male vocal too, but it was just a quick flash, so maybe I misheard that. Maybe there was a backing male vocal, but only for a very specific part of the tune. Lyrically, it does sound like she's saying that the illicit or forbidden aspect of this relationship is part of the appeal. It's part of what is driving her to want to make this connection emotional and very much physical/sexual. But she's also saying, like, I know you're no good for me. I know this is something that can't exist for a long time or out in the open with no issues. And maybe even emotionally for the narrator, she's aware that it's a relationship that will hurt her or that will drag her down or otherwise be impossible, again, on a longer timeline. But in the moment, in the now, and in part because it is taboo or otherwise should be off limits, that's part of why she wants his arms around her. That's part of why she wants to feel his caress, his kiss, see his eyes, see his smile. So it's very sensual and indeed sexual, but it's also psycho-emotional. It's very, she wants the forbidden fruit. She wants to taste that forbidden fruit, and she wishes that all love could be like this. But it sounds like she's also aware that it's an elusive and ephemeral dynamic that gives her that excitement and that exhilaration. So if it was a person who was a great fit for her, if it's a person who everyone around her, her family, her friends, her own heart knows would be a great fit and would be a lovely long-term spouse, I don't think the excitement, I don't think the exhilaration that she's feeling would be there. So it's a bit of a, it's a flash in the pan, but that's precisely what makes her want it so much and makes the allure of it so strong. So it's a really interesting expression, and I think there are many real life cases, surely, where people have that sense where, part of the appeal of a tryst or indeed an adulterous relationship is that it seems so outside of what is expected or what is appropriate, and maybe for some people that's part of the appeal. Now again, you can get into the morality of that, and of course I didn't pick up on any more specific reasons why this love is forbidden, though I do think it's a really interesting wrinkle that she says she knows he's no good for her on a more general or long-term level. So it sounds like it's more than just two people from different religious backgrounds where their families would object, or two people who, I don't know, maybe like cousins or something, where like in some places that scene is okay, but in other places that would be seen as inappropriate and taboo. So I didn't get a sense that there's a more specific explanation of why this love is forbidden. Maybe it was there and I just didn't catch it. But yeah, I think that's a really interesting dynamic, that it's part of the allure that it's forbidden, but she herself knows that, quite beyond any religio-cultural prohibitions or whatever, he's not the long-term solution, but she's what he wants right now. So a really interesting one. As I said, I enjoyed the 90s down-tempo R&B with a little bit of a jazzy feel sonic, so enjoying the evolution of her catalog. And to be fair, again, this album and the one before it, they definitely have an evolved R&B type of atmosphere relative to the more synth-pop, dancey type of tunes, with a few ballads here and there on her first couple albums. So yes, enjoying the Madonna journey. Long story short, once again, thank you to Mark as well as to Izzy and a number of others who've been commenting on this journey so far. Let me know what you think of the track, and I will see you next time. Peace.